So, Erin, what is it like being an art teacher?
I think it's the greatest job on the planet, and it's just wonderful to watch people create things and be happy with themselves and discover new ways of doing things and problem solving, and it's just a good time.
Are there any projects that stood out over the years, like to you?
Within the Youth Art Month?
Yes.
Yeah, every year we have something usually that wins a prize that is different. A lot of students in the high school range do a handmade book, and they spend the whole year doing stuff in the pages. Sometimes they'll do pop-ups or put poems in or something. And there's something about the dedication and the long-term work of that really makes it, rich, I guess. But then there's always a kindergartner may spend 20 minutes on a drawing, but it's just so free and so thoughtful, even if exaggerated. So, and art teachers will try different things, like some years they'll do sculpture out of tin foil or clay portraits instead of clay pots. So it's just a surprise.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what is the judging process? How does that work?
That's a great question. We try to get our art education people involved because they'll be future teachers, and it's a great way to get them to look at what's being done in this county. So in my methods class in the spring, because the exhibit takes place in the spring, I usually have about 15 students, and we break it down so that 2 of them judge a school. And the good thing about having 2 judges is that they have to talk to each other, and if there's a debate, they have to really look at the work that's in contention. Mm-hmm. And then they narrow it down to best of school, if you will, first place, second place, and then we do a whole bunch of honorable mentions. And I also have various people from the art department, if they donate a prize, which is usually like $20 or the equivalent in art materials,
right,
they pick their own. So we try to give as many prizes as we can. I think we average about 70 to 80 every year out of the 600 entries we get. So what is that, 1 out of 10 get a prize.
So is there a specific age limit for the art show?
Mm-hmm. It matches the K-12 school, so anyone in 12th grade, that could be up to age 22, but usually that's 17, 18, and then kindergarten, pre-K, 4 or 5, so it spans, 14, 15 years.
Okay. Why are the arts so important at that age?
I think the arts are important at any age, but I think for children, their brains are developing and they're getting hand-eye motor coordination and learning that the world is full of problems that they may not be able to solve, but they may, need to take a route of their choice and figure it out. Of course, there's self-expression, and when you think about it, life is life. There's a million of things you have to do, but what distinguishes us perhaps from animals is that we are creative beings. Mm-hmm. So this is one way to answer that.
Is there any kids that have grown up and came to Western Carolina that have been in the art show?
Yes, actually, image here of a cat, and this girl is now a senior at Western. However, I will say that a lot of people that attend school in Jackson County, because part of college is leaving home, mm-hmm. tend to go to a university or college far away. So that it's not a recruitment effort in terms of Western. I think it's more of a celebration of art in this area, to give back from Western to the art teachers, because these art teachers host our students all the time for observations. Our students go in the schools. And so we've had parents come in of students, and actually we had a lady whose, I think it was son, unfortunately passed away, and she came in and saw his image because he had won back in the 80s, and it was very powerful for her. So, these are kind of testimonies to children's development, but they're also, real people, and some of them are around, 30, 35 years old now, so these people are in their 40s, 50s.
Are there any colors the kids like to use? What colors
mm-hmm.
are used very often?
I think, it's a stereotype, but I think it's true. Kids love bright colors and will tend to use them if offered. But, some art teachers do a project where they have them use mud from the surrounding area, and that obviously is more neutral. But in general, kids tend to have an optimism that we maybe lose a bit as adults, so although we're looking here at a dragon, this painting here has red, lots of red.
Mm-hmm.
Here's an Egyptian mummy, which is a typical project in 3rd grade that, because they're studying Egypt and world history.
Right.
But kids are fascinated by mummies, and if you've ever seen a real mummy, they're not as bright as this, but, orange and lavenders. And kids get excited by color. And here we have a portrait of flowers, and what's probably most important to this child is the bright red of the tulips.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure what that plant is, but and butterflies, are red and purple, of course.
How many kids participate in the art show?
Like I said, we get about 600 entries. We have a few kids from smaller schools that put in 2 pieces, so I'd say about 500 different students. And that may sound like all of Jackson County, but it's not. Teachers select 15% from their school. So.
Okay. Do the kids ever inspire you in your artwork?
Oh, absolutely. I think, throughout history there's been so many artists who have referenced or used children's art because they haven't been taught technically necessarily, especially when they're young, the 5 to 10-year-old range. And so they draw from their heart, they draw what they zone into emotionally. So, like the red of the tulips here, the size of the butterfly being huge. They draw what means something to them. And it actually is hard for adults to go back to that energy, but completely inspiring. And I hope when you see the show in March, most people, leave it very happy. It's a very upbeat exhibition.
Well, thank you so much, Erin, for taking
Sure.
the time out to answer these questions.
Thanks for your interest in Youth Art Month.